his decks as meta. And
Wow.
I don't think that's a ratio that even Sweep should be able to pull off.
Yeah.
So I think if we stick with this, it means in all likelihood we're going to see at least 2 of the 3 games be crazy decks. Although we've seen the first 2 cards, he could just be running a normal deck, which is just weird to see out of him.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I was talking about, like, maybe against someone he thinks that he's better at, or better than, just skill level wise, maybe he wants to go towards more of a meta deck and just kind of see how he can do. He does have the mini P.E.K.K.A, though. I think the mini P.E.K.K.A is a really interesting pick. Going into Lava Loon Mighty Miner. Ender, Lava first game here with very aggressive Lava in the back. It's kind of interesting. I think overall, Sweep's matchup here is not easy. I think he's going to need a King Tower activation with like a Drill plus Tornado combo if he wants to win this.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that I've noticed from some of the other players is that when they are running these Lava decks, they do place the Tombstone a little bit higher. And I'm wondering if we're going to see that adjustment from Ender, especially because his opponent does have the mini P.E.K.K.A, and so he is going to try and go opposite lane. But that low Tombstone did force out the Mighty Miner in the middle, and so I'm just going to see if he's going to adjust as this game goes on.
You're absolutely right. Look at that. Tombstone up 1 tile from the normal spot, and that will pull this mini P.E.K.K.A now. This mini P.E.K.K.A is not going to be able to go opposite lane, and Ender knows that. He uses the Mighty Miner defense versus the Drill here, and yeah, the mini P.E.K.K.A just not getting much value.
And right there, he is going to have a baby counter push. It is going to force out the Golden Knight, and it also might force out the dash. If he doesn't utilize the dash, the Mighty Miner will do too much damage to it. And this Inferno Dragon is going to clean up. But Sweep, using the Xe NATO variation, he's not going to be able to really get a great NATO in, but he should be able to activate King Tower easily if he chooses to go that route.
Yeah, and I was just talking about how, you know, this deck doesn't have great air counters. But Sweep, just once again, crazy solid deck pick here. Putting the Executioner in, cleaning that Lava push up fantastically, and that King Tower activation I was talking about earlier, going to be so useful at helping on the defenses versus these balloon pushes.
Golden Knight is able to get the dash on top of the Tombstone, not going to do anything else. And now this is the question. I mean, how do you attack a deck with Xe? And so Ender is going to attempt to go in with a Mighty Miner plus Loon combo opposite lane. I just don't think that's going to be that effective. The mini P.E.K.K.A is going to take out the Mighty Miner pretty easily, and we're just going to see another NATO. This is a brutal matchup for Ender and a phenomenal deck choice from Sweep.
Absolutely, and even with that phenomenal deck choice, I think Ender's doing the right things. Like, he's doing everything he can. I really like how he's splitting up his pressure on both sides. The Executioner's not getting like crazy value, but yeah, it's just not enough. Look at this huge push. Golden Knight connection, a Drill connection, Executioner. Not quite able to line up with the tower, but huge damage there. And, I mean, how does Ender come back? Like, you almost have to go with, like, a Mighty Miner Loon opposite lane, followed by with, like, Skeleton Dragons to push the Loon in order to bypass the Drill or something like that. But we've also seen Sweep just have really nice placements of his Drill to prevent anything like that happening.
Yeah, I mean, this is just putting on a clinic from Sweep. And I think it maybe comes down to, could he have gotten away with not being aggressive early on, trying to stack troops and then trying to stack, you know, possibly a Loon in the back opposite lane and then a Loon at the bridge, you know, behind a Lava or something. I think this is one of those games where you kind of you mess around with this kind of matchup in like a sandbox mode, and it's like, oh, if I ever go against this is terrible for me, and you just hope you never have to go against it.
Yep, and Ender's definitely feeling the pain on that matchup right now, taking that first loss. Sweep just needs one more to qualify here. This is a qualify and elimination match right now, with these players being 2-2. We're hopping to the next match. I mean, I was going to ask you what decks you think we're going to see here, but with Sweep, I guess we just never know.
Yeah, and that actually does beg the question, was that a mistake to use Lava? You know, one of the old comments that was always made is when you're going against a player that runs weird decks, They tend to be heavier decks. They tend to match up well against air units because they have the Inferno Dragons, they have the Executioners, they have the Archer Queen plus Minion Horde plus Mother Witch plus Mirror kind of thing. Do you think it was a mistake to use Lava Loon in game number 1?
That's a really good point, and I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, just Lava Hound. I don't know, Lava Hound's one of those decks where you need a pretty solid matchup to ensure the victory. And when you're playing against crazy decks like that, it's definitely just something where it's hard to get that sort of situation happening.
So right here, one hog on top of the tower just chomping away, eating the tower all the way down to 1735. A great situation for Ender so far. And he does use the mirror for the giant skeleton, that level 13 giant skeleton appearing behind the king tower, and Sweep responding with his own mirror, using it on top of the royal recruits. A great situation for Sweep, and that Mother Witch is going to get value, but because it's not locked onto the correct troop, those recruits are going to put in a lot of work and take it out quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the other thing there is since the recruits were level 13, so healthy, the Mother Witch just had a really hard time DPSing those down. She does spawn a couple pigs here and there, but with Ender not having a big spell, just arrows, this Flying Machine is just getting so much value from the sky. Sweep is down damage right now, but I can totally see him coming back if he keeps playing like this.
Yeah, this is just one of those matchups where, you know, what do you use your mirror on because it's so effective no matter what. You can use it on the Flying Machine, the recruits, sometimes you can use it on the Royal Hogs. I mean, really, it's just so awkward for Ender to even just try and get damage just because you know he has so many answers available to him.
Yeah, absolutely. He just has... Even the Dark Prince here, like the Dark Prince and the Cage, just always preventing like any sort of mirror pigs connection. Yeah, I think you're absolutely like I think Ender he's having a really hard time of choosing what he wants to mirror, but from Sweep he's just having a very easy time of just look mirror arrows, kind of cleaning up everything, and yeah, I mean Sweep's got the damage lead now. He's going for some pigs on this counter push. I think he's got this game.
Yeah, we see the Royal Hogs tower all the way down to 832, 684, 536. What can he do against it? This is going to be the push. I mean, this is basically it.
Yeah,
can he get the Royal Hogs?
Push. I wonder.
Can he?
Oh, mirror arrow, bro! Mirror arrows just killed everything. That was like a nuke. That was insane.
Yeah, mirror arrows doing so much work. And it's just not going to leave him with enough elixir. The Zappies plus the Fishermen are going to be able to put in a little bit of work. We see the defensive arrows, but now the question is, will the mirrored arrows come out from Sweep himself? It's not going to matter. Tower down, Sweep qualifying, moving on to not the next stage, but Helsinki.
Fascinating gameplay from Sweep there. Once again, the deck pick.